Using only your mind to heal will keep you trapped in your wounds. And in this video, I'm going to discuss why that is and what you must do instead. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Christina. I help empower people on their spiritual and healing journey so they can have a more fulfilling and purposeful driven life. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you're notified of when I post a video, because it's my mission to share my message to as many people as possible and to help people just like you. So with all of that being said, let's dive in. Thinking a better thought, thinking a more positive thought will simply not cut it when it comes to healing. So when we have a physical wound, you do not want to underestimate the power of the placebo effect. When the mind believes that it is healing, and then it can actually heal a physical wound or an ailment. We don't want to underestimate the power of the mind, because everything is mental. Because when we think a thought, then we can create it into existence. So this means we can create our reality based on our thoughts and our mind. But when it comes to healing emotional wounds, there's the biggest thing that most people will forget to do or do not realize, is that they are only using one modality or using their logical mind. They are stuck up here in their mind using logic to heal, going and getting that another book, going and getting that course in order to finally heal themselves. And when we are stuck in our mind when it comes to healing, what is happening here is that we are playing out the same stories to ourselves. Because what is the mind? The mind is where our beliefs are. It's where our stories are that we've told ourselves, our memories and our ego. So this means all of our subconscious beliefs, the internal matrix that it's been programmed with, because that's what I like to describe it as, because we need to heal that internal matrix and reprogram it. So what is happening here, because we are using our logical mind all the time, we keep ourselves stuck in our head, because our ego is attached to old stories, attached to an identity, because we gave it a meaning back when a traumatic experience may have happened. So if you're somebody that has just started their healing journey and you're wondering where to go next, it's important to understand if you have any wounds that you may be holding on to. And I have a free inner child wound quiz, and this quiz will determine if you do have any inner child wounds and what your dominant wound is. And then you'll be sent a personalized free report about the wound and some steps you can begin to take in order to heal. So click the link in the pinned comment below to complete the quiz. It's so quick, it's like 60 seconds, no time at all, so no time wasted. So what happens is then we keep replaying out the same stories in our minds, in our heads. And the ego loves this because it wants to keep you safe and playing out your same stories, whether that's going over the negative thought patterns in your head, or if it's your reality is manifested based on your thoughts of that familiarity, the familiar experience you went through in childhood, because that's what happens. It becomes familiar. So then we hold on to that because the ego wants to stay safe. And then we continue to play out this familiarity, family dynamics when we become adults. So this means we are constantly stuck in the mind. And this is what most people get wrong, is because they think if they could just think a better thought, change their thoughts, read that book. And what this is doing is creating all of the energy up into the mind and forgetting about everything else. And often in spiritual communities, you will see this as well. You will see things, for example, like certain modalities that focus on one thing. For example, yoga is a very good example of this. People think of yoga as a physical thing, a physical workout, but actually yoga is about the meditation process as well. There's so much more that goes into yoga than the simple exercising, the movements. And this is because it came over to the Western society and people just changed it and wanted to use yoga to benefit for their health and their diets and exercise and all of that. So they just focus on the physical aspect, when yoga actually does focus on many more aspects in spirituality. And also another example of this is, for example, Reiki healing. It's another healing tool modality that we can go to. And I have been to a Reiki healing. My close friend is a Reiki healer. I go to her from all my Reiki healings. But if we just continually take this approach from like an energetic point and not thinking of it from like the mind or the body, then we are stuck, trapped in this one way of thinking. And often it's the mind. We think we're attached to a story and we think, well, if I do this, then it's going to get me out of this. But I hear you, you're probably thinking, well, what the heck do I do then? It's all well and good in saying this. This is just logical thinking, you watching this and taking in all that information. But what you can do is begin to be more embodied. Use your body as well as your mind. Drop the stories in the head and come into the body, because there's usually an emotion that is stuck in the body that you haven't given yourself permission to fully feel and process that. Because what happens when we allow emotions to be there, when we're in the present moment, we allow the emotions to be there, they flow through us, because emotions are energy in motion. So we allow the emotion to flow through us and then it dissolves, and it's coming back into that homeostasis and the vagus nerve feeling balanced within our nervous systems. So we often think, oh, if I do read this book, it's going to get me out of my healing, it's going to, if I think a better thought, I have a better life. But what's happened is all the stagnant energy, the emotions, is still stuck in your body. And this is where you can use Reiki healing as well to help move any stagnant energy that is held within your body. But what you can do as well is use some somatic movements, some body movements to be able to move the body, get into the body, because we've got to drop from here into here. And it's about dropping the stories, dropping the ego and getting into your body and allowing yourself to feel again. Because when you give yourself permission to feel, the energy of the emotion dissolves. You allow it to fill you up, feel that anxiety, feel that sadness in your body, and then release it by just allowing it to be there, because eventually it will just dissolve. And this is where we can use Reiki in this as well, to help remove the stagnant energy that the body has been holding onto. So when we're moving the body, we're able to move all of this energy through us and out of us. So we're not allowing the stories to replay on our heads, we're dropping into the body and letting the emotion to be there, be felt, and then released and moved on. So this means when we can do exercising, we know that after exercising we feel much better. And so this means if you go for a jog, after you'll feel so much happier, because what is it, the hormone that actually gets released when you go jogging, is it The only one I'm thinking of is dopamine or serotonin. I'm not really sure which one is the happy one when you feel much better after you exercise. But what exercising really does as well is helps remove any stagnant masculine energy that has been left in your body. When we're in our workout or we're exercising, this helps us to get into our masculine energy. And if you have any masculine wounds held in your body, this will help to release some of that excess energy, the stagnant masculine energy that has been held within your body. So exercising and moving the body really helps you to get into your body, allow your body to feel and shift yourself from anger and frustration to more calm inner peace. Because if I feel frustrated, I'm getting stuck in my head, what you must do is go and move your body. I go and exercise. And an example of this was when I went back to college a couple of years ago to study photography. I stayed at home one day and I said to my tutor, I'm not coming in. I was overwhelmed with work and I just did my work at home and I still handed it in because it was a deadline date for my work, and I still sent it over on the laptop anyway. But throughout that day, I was feeling particularly stressed out and quite frustrated at my tutor. He was a very unusual character, and so I was feeling quite frustrated and almost like really annoyed by everything at that point. So in the afternoon I decided I had to go for a jog, and I went for a jog in my local woods because I live in the countryside, and so I went for a jog for around about an hour, and that's the longest I've ever ran for. And I just kept running and running and running, and I said to my partner after, I was like, I felt like Forrest Gump running because I was like so in the zone but also frustrated, and I felt like I was doing like an angry run, like I really had to move that energy out of my body. And when you are running, you can kind of help process the thoughts that are going through your mind. And after, when I come back, I felt so much better. And this is the thing that we're forgetting here when it comes to healing. Yes, talk therapies are very good. Yes, Reiki, yoga, meditation's very good as well, but we have to remember that we cannot just stick to the mind, we cannot just stick to the body, we cannot just stick to energy in the soul and the spirit. And what I find, one of the biggest things that has really helped me and my healing is meditation. I know I just described that as one thing only, but what meditation does is actually helps you to drop the stories in your head and allows you just to observe the thoughts and bring awareness to yourself, to your body, in order to relax. And then you can connect to the divine, connect to your true soul self. You kind of see who you really are. So it's the mind, the body and the soul with meditation. And meditation is much more simpler than you think. We don't have to sit and listen to a guided meditation. We just have to simply sit and be. And that helps us to get into our bodies, well, bring awareness to any tension that's held in the body, so we can relax into the meditation fully, and then we're able to not become attached to our stories, and we just simply observe them. And yes, this does take practice, because I find myself getting lost in thoughts all the time. And I think, oh my God, bring myself back into center, bring myself back to my breath, the present moment, to my body. And then I allow myself to continue again with the meditation. And it's simply just doing that over and over and over again. And I do like to listen to some music in my meditations. It helps me to kind of feel focused, I guess. It gets me in the zone, I think. It gets me in the whole flowy, nice feeling. I don't know. But I think you get what I mean. So if you are struggling with your healing, your emotional past pain, You've got to remember it can't just be logically done because we are attached, the ego's attached to the stories. So we have to take an embodied approach where we begin to actually embody what it means to feel healed and come into the body. So just to recap, we need to drop the stories in there, come away from our head, drop into our hearts and our bodies to be able to transcend and transmute our emotions, our emotional pains that get stored in the body. So I hope this video has been really helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a like if you found this really helpful.